which that will create. However, we have recognized over the years that one of the reasons why many businesses in Tobago have not been very successful with getting a lot of these projects, there was a lot of deficiencies where it relates to the tendering process, right? Sometimes not sufficient information is provided or incorrect information is provided. A simple thing like how you create your profile, your company profile, or the list of projects you would have completed successfully, right? And therefore, what we're trying to do is to ensure that those gaps will be sort of shortened by our intervention. A case like today, this is one such approach in terms of helping you identify where those gaps are and how do you go about to making sure that they're shortened and therefore you now become viable, right, in terms of having an opportunity to participate in such development projects. So this is one way E-IDOCOT is actually reaching out to entrepreneurs, contractors, and any form of service provision in terms of what we're trying to hope and achieve. Also as well, we also have a responsibility to ensure that it is done in a very transparent manner, right? Therefore, in the past where in terms of evaluation and tendering was done very manually in terms of how you provided your documentation, we would have gone a step further in terms of making everything more efficient in terms of where the document is, who have access to the documents, and so on. And therefore, our partner, who is TSCT in this case, in terms of the e-tendering process where everything is done online, greater sense of security, greater sense of transparency, and therefore that's what the exercise is about today, right? So we have moved from the stage where it's no longer manual, and sometimes it could be very subjective in the minds of the public. So what we are hoping to do now to make it very much more clear in the mind of the public in terms of what the transparency of our procurement process, right? So that you feel comfortable that when you engage us, it's done in a very transparent manner. And I would like to emphasize on the transparency of our tendering process, right? And that's what the exercise is today about, making you familiar in terms of how we use the e-tendering platform, right? And also as well too, one of the objectives also coming out from this is that sometimes when we do our evaluation, we recognize that there's still some shortfall in terms of how when we do our evaluation, there may still be some shortfalls. And from that now gives us more information in terms of what other interventions we as an organization can develop and use that information to develop you even further, right? We are hoping by such a case you build your capacity, not just for projects in Tobago, but even beyond the shores of Tobago by facilitating in projects in Trinidad and even beyond Trinidad and Tobago. So again, on behalf of E-IDOCOT, I would like to thank everyone who has found the time to be here today with us, and for those online, that we encourage you to participate, have your question answered, and even if you don't have questions for today, you could always reach us at our offices. We are online. We are at www.e-idocot.com. We're always available to answer any question, right? So just like to wish everyone successful participation. I pray that you stay alert and that you enjoy all that we have to offer. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Richards. So yeah, so we at E-IDOCOT are committed to expanding ourselves and expanding our partners, our entrepreneurs as well. So this is why we are here today. As we mentioned, our partner for our e-tender platform is TSCT, and we have our representative here today, Ms. Kimberly McCullin, and she is going to walk us through how we go about registering on the platform, how we go about pre-qualifying as well as tendering for any open projects or selective projects, all right? So Kimberly, let's welcome Kimberly.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Kalisha. Thank you, Mr. Richards, for the introduction. So as Kalisha would have mentioned this morning, the focus is going to be on how to use the eTender platform to be able to pre-qualify for works, goods, and services, or to do business with E-IDOCOT, as well as how to complete the tendering process online using eTender with E-IDOCOT. So our agenda this morning would be very succinct. It's basically, I'm going to give you an eTender overview. So Kalisha and Mr. Richards would have mentioned that we are in partnership. I mean, expansion obviously does not come about on its own. It's through collaboration. So E-IDOCOT would have partnered with TSTT. So we do provide them the service of our eTender. eTender is not only used within E-IDOCOT, but it's also being used across a number of private and public entities within Trinidad and Tobago as well. So the process generally would apply across any company or any platform that is currently using TSTT's eTender application. So we'll do a brief overview of the eTender application, how to go about creating an account, supplier pre-qualification, so the step after creating your account, how do you pre-qualify with E-IDOCOT using the platform, and then RFX management, which is the sourcing module, so that's the module that you would be using to submit your bid, so submit your tender responses or your RFP packages in response to solicitation requests raised by E-IDOCOT, and then we will open up the floor to questions and answers. So what is eTender? So eTender is an innovative cloud-based solution. It was developed by TSTT. We at TSTT use it as well. We have been using it since 2012. And what it does is that it allows our clients to conduct their procurement, their sourcing online. So the pre-qualification process, the sourcing process, all done online. All right. You can also pay for your tender packages online. You can pay for your pre-qual right now. And this procurement legislation is going to mandate state companies, like Mr. Richards would have said, focus more on transparent procurement, accountability, transparency, safety and security, and streamlining of the tendering process, user experience. So before, you'd have to print out your packages, you might have to, reach a Tobago, if you're based in Trinidad, drop in your tender package online or via email. So the tender package preparation process could also be very lengthy. What this does is allow you to submit your quotes, submit your RFPs in the comfort of your home online, so there's no hassle to have to reach anywhere to drop in any bid within a box before a certain time. Once your bid is successfully submitted or your pre-qualification package is submitted, you get a receipt automatically, so you have your proof that your bid was submitted, your pre-qual was submitted. So it really allows the user, not only you guys, the vendors, but also the company as well, to have a more streamlined, easy process to conduct procurement. Security. So to be able to do so online, this is what our eTender does. It allows you, the vendors, to submit your packages or your responses in a safe and online environment. Other vendors are not able to access your bids. They're not able to see your bids. The company itself can only access those bids, very similar in a manual setting, up until closing date and time. These bids are 32-bit encrypted, meaning that they are watermarked, they are stamped, they are stored in secured servers and only accessible once keys are generated to the designated openers. So your bids are in a safe, secure vault until closing date and time, and only then would E-IDOCOT be able to access your bid submissions. And then support local. So again, we have partnered with E-IDOCOT to provide this service. We have been using this service ourselves since 2012. It was developed in-house locally by some of our best developers in collaboration with our procurement team, our audit team, to really bring a solution to market that will really transform the way we do procurement in Trinidad and Tobago. And what are some of the benefits for you as a vendor? So I would have mentioned a couple of benefits previously, but really I could just focus on them again because they are so important. The efficiency in transacting business, the reduced cost as well of preparing your tender packages, so you no longer have to put them on CDs or jump drives or print out multiple copies, and one bid is probably 100 pages. So it really reduces the cost of bid preparation. It also facilitates streamlined and speedy communication. So once you submit your bid, instantly you get an email response as your receipt. We have clarification or questions portal in eTender as well, where you can submit all your queries to procurement. The responses come right back to all vendors. And then you also have the vendor self-service. So you can manage your own account, manage your own affairs, see the bids you submitted, review your pre-qual documents, get updates or alerts on whether or not you've been successful, etc. All online without really having to, call into an entity, call into E-IDOCOT to be asking questions. Everything is really packaged and in your vendor portal. So that takes me now to the first step or the first process, which is really creating a vendor account. All right. So many of you here probably already have vendor accounts. It's probably one of the easiest things to do is to register an account on the website. How do you go about doing so? You visit E-IDOCOT's eTender World website. So this is available. The platform is available on the World Wide Web. So once you open up your Google or your Yahoo and you search E-IDOCOT eTender, this site should come up. All right. The site is also available on E-IDOCOT's website as well. So if you have trouble remembering the actual website address, you can go onto E-IDOCOT's website and get the link to the platform, and it will take you directly to the login page, which we have on the screen. If you have not created an eTender account, to do so, you select create an account. And what it does, it takes you through 4 simple steps to create an account. Now, this account is just for you to have access to the website. All right. This is for you to be able to see the procurement opportunities, to be able to respond to pre-qualifications if you are invited or if the pre-quals are public. All right. If it is you need assistance in creating your account, we do have the FAQs also available on this page. So you click the green View Your FAQ tab, which will also guide you on the steps to create your vendor account. If you already have a vendor account, you enter your username and your password. The username isn't an email address. It's a username you would have created when you were creating the account. So for me, it might be Kama Collin, for example, it might be a business name. All right. So you log in and you have access to your portal. So once you are done creating your account, and that again, it's 4 easy steps asking you organization name, telephone number, create a password, create a username, create an email address, etc. And you create your account. The first email notification you will receive is that on the screen, an activation email. Now you must activate your E-IDOCOT eTender account before use. So immediately when you confirm your account creation, an email is dispatched to the email that you put on file. All right. You get an email activation code, which looks like that highlighted in green. You copy, you select activate my account. On the right, you would see the activation confirmation screen come up. You paste the code and you select activate. Now it's critical that you activate your account within the first 15 minutes of creation. All right, because if you try to log in and you haven't activated, you will experience challenges. And from that moment, you will have to contact E-IDOCOT directly, and we will provide you with the email address to do so, and they will be able to manually activate your account and then allow you to log in with the same credentials that you would have used or created during account creation. All right, so the first step is knowing that activation of the account is critical for further or future use. Now, when creating an account, a user can experience some challenges. All right. And one of the first challenges you may see is error, suspicious activity recorded. So it comes up usually. So what we do on eTender, because we have implemented some of the highest levels of security, one of which is Google's reCAPTCHA version 3. So you guys are probably familiar with ever logging into an account or trying to log in somewhere, and you see you have to select tiles of a lamp pole or a tractor, etc. That's reCAPTCHA. So we also have a version of reCAPTCHA on this to prevent malicious intrusion, of bot attacks, etc. So it's really a very robust security feature. But our own, you can see, right? It doesn't ask you to click on any identify a boat or a bicycle. The work happens behind the scenes. And this usually comes up when either one, your device may have some malware. Generally, you use different sites, you have little bugs, etc. So the application is very sensitive. If you do get an error like this, you can simply try another browser, for example, try another computer. You can clear your browser's cache, steps of which will be provided to you when we share this slide pack with you guys subsequently. And then you can also just complete your registration also in a timely manner. Sometimes clients will start the process and then have the page running and then think, okay, I'll come back to it later. But that open page in just generally kind of opens up the application, or the application becomes very sensitive to just being stagnant for some time. So once this error comes up, try a different browser, try a different laptop, and if the challenge does persist, you can reach out to E-IDOCOT for them to provide you with support further. Another error that you can get is error, login credentials incorrect, the most frequent one. So persons sometimes either forget their username, they may forget their password, and that's fine, it happens to me all the time. So if you do forget your username, you can reach out to E-IDOCOT to be able for them to remind you or to reinforce what your username was, right? Remember, your username isn't your email address, it is a username you created, all right? And if you can't remember your password, we do have the forgot password feature, which is available on the application front page as well. So you have that power to reset your own password very similarly to what you would do on Amazon or any other website. All right, so you could reset your password. Another error you would receive is if you've tried to log in way too many times with that one password, the application will completely shut you out. And in that instance, you will receive this error, max failed attempts reach. Sorry. And in that case, what you would do is reach out directly to E-IDOCOT for them to be able to reset the password on their end. All right? So the key thing is not trying to enter the incorrect password too many times. And then thirdly, we have challenge number 4. And this happens from time to time. And as you see, it says, click here to log out of all other accounts. Now, this happens very frequently. And how does this occur? When you're using the application and you don't actively log out, you just leave the application running. So you submit your pre-qual, you submit your quote, and that's it. So what happens, like many other sites, it times out. So the application looks open on the front, but it's already closed in the back. So if you try to perform any function, it's going to prompt you now to log back in. So what this error is doing is forcing you to log out properly to allow you to re-enter the application. All right? So again, don't feel overwhelmed. This slide pack will be available to you via E-IDOCOT. So it shows you what steps that you have to do in case you get these challenges and the remedies that you need to take and who to contact if you do experience these challenges persistently. So that takes me to the end of the account creation process. So at this point, we've all successfully created our accounts. We can log in now. We can participate in a tender or a pre-qualification exercise issued by E-IDOCOT. So pre-qual. So if E-IDOCOT can issue 2 types of pre-qualification events, a selective or a public. Selective means that E-IDOCOT has specially invited you or specifically invited you to pre-qualify for a good work or service. If they do so, you will receive an email like that shown on the screen. So it tells you that you've been invited, and it tells you the pre-qualification exercise for which you've been invited. Very similarly, if they do a tender that's selective, you will receive a similar email telling you that you've been invited to tender and the name of the tender event for which you've been invited to participate in. So you do get email notifications. If the pre-qual event or the tender event is public meaning anyone can participate, you will not receive an email. However, when you do log into the application, you will see the events open for solicitation. All right? So you don't get emails for public tenders, but when you log into your account, the dashboard shows you a listing of all open tenders. And in the registration module, you have a listing of all open pre-qualifications. All right? So when you log into your application and you are starting the pre-qualification process, naturally your screen is going to look like what you see on my screen. It's your dashboard. So you have all the listing of tenders, whether they're open or closed or canceled, but you are interested in pre-qualifying. So your area of focus is going to be on the registration portal, on the navigation panel on the left. And then your areas of focus are going to be the download files tab, the start registration tab. All right. And then from there, that takes you into the pre-qual process. So what should ideally be your first step? So the first step is actually downloading the forms. Now these forms are standard basic data forms issued by E-IDOCOT. They are general forms that E-IDOCOT may ask of you throughout your engagement with E-IDOCOT, so they're not special or specific to one pre-qual event. They're standard across the board. E-IDOCOT will delineate in their package or their registration instructions what Form A, Form B, Form C, Form D is. It could be a company data page. It could be your board of directors listing. It depends. And once you download these forms and you fill them out and you upload them, you will never have to do so again for any future pre-qual. All right, so these are standard company documents across the board that E-IDOCOT may ask every time, but instead of asking it every single time, we've allowed it where one-stop shop, you download it once and you upload it, and it stays within that application and will be available to E-IDOCOT for every subsequent pre-qual. You're also free to change these forms as well if required in the future. All right, so the first step is registration portal, download forms. You download form A, B, C, D, and you fill them out. And during the pre-qual process, you will submit those documents. And once it's done, you don't have to do it for any other pre-qual. Once you have completed the download of forms, all right, form A, B, C, D, you are now ready really to start the pre-qual process. How do I go about doing that? Again, registration portal. And in the registration portal, you see, and you go to start pre-qualification. You come to the registration portal as that seen on my screen. And you have the download button, which is this green button here. And that download button gives you access to the general instructions for the E-IDOCOT's entire pre-qual process. So it's general data. All right, it's not unique or specific to any pre-qual. It's just basically guiding you on the steps or the process of pre-qualifying with E-IDOCOT. So you download it and you review it. All right, at the bottom, you would see your list of pre-qual catalogs. All right, so these are general areas or umbrella catalogs, I like to call them, which basically E-IDOCOT has grouped their categories into. All right, so if you're interested in pre-qualifying with E-IDOCOT, you will have to review this catalog and click on each catalog to see what categories are available for registration. Right? So I've clicked on a catalog of interest before. So let's just say I clicked on advertising and marketing as my catalog. So again, it's the umbrella term. I clicked on it. And within that now, I'm able to see all the categories, available for solicitation by E-IDOCOT. So as you see on the screen, the status is open. Once the status of a pre-qual is closed, you cannot apply, the time period has passed. So your interest will really be on those categories that are open right now. All right, so you get preliminary information, the name of it, your reference ID, you're interested, you click on it. Once you click on it, you're able to see some basic details that will then determine if you are actually really interested in pre-qualifying for this category. So very basic, all right? Once you've decided, yes, I'm interested, I can do this, you click on Purchase RFX, Purchase Credit Card. At this time, eTender accepts credit cards only, not debit cards. All right? So you're able to purchase. The purchase process is very similar to that if you're checking out on Amazon. You enter your credit card information, your address, your credit card information, purchase. That's it. Once you successfully purchase, you will receive a receipt via your inbox that you've successfully purchased the pre-qualification package. And then the pre-qual itself comes up under registration portal, my purchased pre-qualifications. So in this regard, anytime you purchase a pre-qual package and you want to go back to it to review it or to start the process, they will be listed under my purchased pre-qualifications. And from there now, you can see a list of them. You can click on it and you can start the process or review what you would have done before, the status, whether it's approved, whether it's denied, whether you've not applied, whether you've applied. So this is where you really get to manage now the pre-qual process on your end as a vendor, right? So I'm interested now, I've purchased my package and I'm going to apply. All right, how do I do so? You click on it, you start the process. So remember, under download forms, we would have downloaded form A, B, C, D. And now the first thing, once you start the application process, the first thing is the application now asking you for those forms. How do you go about uploading them? You click on choose files. It's a simple upload from your desktop. The application only accepts PDF documents. So no editable versions of documents, no Word documents, no Excel documents, only PDF documents. All right, so you click choose file, you select the file from your desktop or wherever the file is located, and you upload. And every page, and when I mean page, I mean every tab. So at the top you're seeing uploads, legal requirements, financial requirements, etc. The top, the tabs, every tab has an upload button at the bottom right. And in every page, you must select upload because it basically puts the information in relevant buckets. So if you upload files there and you move forward, and you don't select upload, the file is not actually uploaded. All right? So you upload your documents, PDF documents, on every tab you select upload, and then you move forward. Legal requirements, financial requirements, and again, this process is simply uploading those documents. Because remember, you would have already got the package, you know what the requirements are, you've reviewed it, so now you've already prepared them. So now basically what you are doing is submitting that package now online. E-IDOCOT may or may not have requirements in all these fields. They may have legal requirements, they may have financial requirements, they may not have HSC requirements. So if you do see a blank tab, it's fine. It's that E-IDOCOT has not outlined any requirements for this area. For some categories, you may have way more requirements than others. So that's also fine as well. All right, but the key thing is remembering only PDF documents, and at every stage, you must select upload. Once you are done and you have confirmed your submission, you will receive an email which acts as your receipt. So it tells you, yes, Jane, you have successfully uploaded your documents for this pre-qualification exercise. So in the future, if you have to ever raise a query or a claim, you have this email as your receipt. Very similarly, if you were to do so in person, you get a receipt and you have to hold on to it. This email is your receipt. Be very mindful of emails going into your junk folder, for example, or your spam folder, and you're not able to access it. So be very careful of that as well, because you really want to make sure that the free flow of communication via email is there between yourself and E-IDOCOT. So successful completion of the pre-qualification process is evidenced by an email letting you know that you've been successful. During the evaluation process or the review process, E-IDOCOT may realize that, okay, company X has submitted a VAT clearance that's no longer valid, or a document, for example, has expired. So from time to time, E-IDOCOT may request this document from you again. How are they going to do that? E-IDOCOT will request it through the portal. How would you know that you have to resubmit a document? You will also receive an email. So the email outlines that you have been advised that the following documents have been requested by you. In that instance, you literally go back into the application, registration portal, my purchase prequels, you go into the category, and you will realize that that box or that page where the requirement was requested from you is now open again. No other field will be open. That document that was requested will be open. You simply upload the updated document, you select upload, and E-IDOCOT receives an email notification that company X has resubmitted the documents. Now, if you do not respond to this email notification in a timely manner, it will delay your approval process. All right? So it's critical that when you do receive these emails, you respond in a timely manner to allow E-IDOCOT to complete the evaluation process, and the quicker you would be now an approved vendor with E-IDOCOT. All right? So that is the pre-qualification process. So very simple. Always have your documents saved in the correct format. It is critical as well that when you are naming these documents, that there are no special characters in the document's name. Dashes, asterisks, dollar signs, etc. Because these things can also hamper the upload process for you. So very clean names, all right? PDF only. And once those requirements are met, you will have a seamless pre-qualification process. Any questions during the pre-qualification process should be directed to E-IDOCOT via the email address that they would have provided to you in the pre-qual package. Yeah? So RFX management now, the tendering. So once you've been pre-qualified with E-IDOCOT, or even if you're not pre-qualified and E-IDOCOT issues a public tender, that tender is also going to be available on eTender for solicitation. So we would have logged in. We saw our dashboard where we had all the tenders open, closed. You can obviously only apply for a tender that is open. So status of the tender is important. All right. And the first thing you do when you log in and you see a dashboard, you would see the open tenders. If it's a selective tender, you would see the selective tender. If company X has been invited to selectively tender for a job, company Y is not going to see that tender on their dashboard. It's selective. So selective means only if you've been selective, you would see it. So any other person, what their view is all the public tenders available on the application. So once you see a public tender that you're interested in, for example, we have this one, tender for new business consultancy, for example, that's open on my screen. You select on that screen. So before, with pre-qual, you had to go into the pre-qual registration portal, etc. RFX is immediate. Once it's on the dashboard on the rolling list and it's open, you click on it. When you click on it, this green pop-up appears with information on the tender, all right? And you can review this information and determine, do I want to participate in this tender? If you do, you go through the same purchase process. You select free. You go through, well, this tender is actually at no cost, but if there's a cost, it will be the same purchase, all right? Because there will be times when a tender may be issued at no cost as well, but you must go through that selection process. So either you select free or you purchase the tender package, very similarly to what we would have done in the pre-qual, right? Credit card information, address, etc. Once you are done, you will receive an email letting you know that you've successfully purchased, and the tender will then now be available for you to participate in. Because if you go back now and click on the tender, you will see that the fields have now changed, as that on my screen. So you have upload tender, view RFX info, resend invoice. So what you will do is you actually go to view RFX info, and in there, you'll be able to download the actual tender package. Now the tender package is not going to be available before purchase. All right? So once you pay for your package, you download it, you've read the instructions, you know what the requirements are. It may not happen all at the same time, obviously. So let's just say, you purchase it on Monday, Wednesday you log in, you download the package, you review it, you prepare it. Maybe in 2 weeks you decide, okay, now I'm ready to upload my response. All right? Once you're ready to upload your response, you click on the same tender on the home screen. You will see the tab, Upload Tender. You click on it. You accept the terms and conditions. You are able to see the countdown timer, so it tells you how much days or hours you have left. It's always advised that you do not wait till 1 hour before tender close to upload your bid documents, because you really want to give yourself enough time. If you have to troubleshoot something or you need some support, it's always best you give yourself enough time to be able to do so. So at least 2 to 3 hours before tender close, you should try to at least initiate the process. So if you do require any support from E-IDOCOT, you'll be able to have it in a timely manner. So we have our countdown timer on the top left, which tells you how much time you have left for the tender. We have our terms and conditions, which really mandates the terms of use. So for example, only PDF documents, the prices are VAT exclusive, make sure you confirm your bid submission before close, general terms and conditions. Once you have reviewed it, you select agree and understand, and only then would you actually now be able to select next and then submit your bid. So the first stage is your price. So you enter your price into the area highlighted in green. Once you're done, you select next. Then you upload your file. So you click on that area, it'll take you to your desktop. You will see all of your available PDF files there. You select the file. This is a simple 1 envelope process. If it's a 2 envelope, there will be a second step, which will also now ask you to upload your financial bid. You are free to upload multiple files here as required. There is a 100 megabyte to 300 megabyte restriction on the size, which has proven to be sufficient. If there isn't, then we would liaise with E-IDOCOT to make it happen in terms of if we need to expand. But generally, this is enough in terms of the size. So you upload your multiple documents as required into this space. Once you are done, you select next. You review your price. You are able to review the file that you submitted. Then you must verify your data by clicking on that toggle and making it green. And then once you are done, you complete your submission. And once you have successfully completed your submission, you receive a system notification telling you success. And then you would also receive an email that will act as your receipt, letting you know that you were successful in submitting your bid. All right? So it's just as this prequel process, emails are important. Emails are forms of communication. It's important that you ensure that your email is received because that's your receipt. All right? So you have your success message and you're done. Now, in the tender process, you are able to submit or to resubmit a bid up until closing date and time. All right? So you can submit a bid multiple times. It will always, however, override that which you would have submitted previously. All right? So once the tender is open, you could change a bid. Because remember as well too, during the tender process, there may be clarifications issued by E-IDOCOT that will result in you wanting to make a change or update your bid, and you're free to do so. How do notifications of clarifications or addendas, how are they issued? You will receive an email notification that E-IDOCOT has issued an addenda. Please log in, re-download your files, etc. So that's why it's important that you be on it in terms of the email notifications. So once you have agreed or you have decided to make a change to your bid, and you go back in, you click on your tender, the same green screen, the green pop-up appears, you will now see re-upload tender, right? And once you click re-upload tender, this pop-up comes up that tells you that if you proceed, you will replace the initial bid submitted. And this is very important because if it is you select OK and you do not re-upload a bid, you no longer have a bid in the bag then basically. So it's important, and that's why by selecting OK, you have acknowledged this. So once you attempt to re-upload a bid, you must re-enter your price and re-enter a document. All right? Again, the email looks like this, very simple. You have successfully uploaded your tender for the tender name, etc. And again, that serves as your receipt. Another way that you can confirm successful upload as well is under tender options. When you log in on the left panel, you have tender options and then you have uploaded tenders. So on this tab, you as the vendor can see a history of all the tenders that you would have submitted. All right? If you're not sure, you say, okay, I don't remember seeing an email, I maybe would have deleted the email. Let's just say you go to the tender options, uploaded tenders. You're able to see all the tenders and the status of your bid. So complete means your bid is in. Incomplete means you have started it and you didn't finish. So for example, if I went back in to re-upload that tender and I never resubmitted a bid, the status would read as incomplete. So it's very important. You have a responsibility as a vendor as well to ensure that your bid is submitted in properly and in a timely manner to E-IDOCOT. Submitting questions. So when you download your bid package and you realize, I have a clarification, I want to ask E-IDOCOT a question about this tender. How do I go about doing that? You use the questions portal in eTender to facilitate that message. So you go on your left-hand side, so all of your entry points are on the left-hand side of the application. You go to questions, compose new query. Once you go to that now, you would see the message portal open. And it's important to know that you can only submit questions for open tenders. So when I go to my RFX, which is the top, and I select that drop down, I'm only going to see tenders that are open. So you cannot submit a question to E-IDOCOT on anything outside of the tender process or outside of an open tender. So that's why you have to be very mindful of the nature of the queries that you are asking E-IDOCOT. Because once that question is submitted and E-IDOCOT responds, the original question as well as the response to that question goes to all vendors who are participating in that tender. So if you have a registration problem or any problem or challenge or question outside of the tender process, you can email E-IDOCOT directly. But tender related, as it relates to clarifications on the tender process, must go through the questions portal and are only in relation to open tenders. All right? Once your message has been successfully submitted, you will receive an email, and immediately E-IDOCOT will receive an email, and then from there E-IDOCOT will log into the application, view the question, liaise with the necessary persons to get the response. And again, once E-IDOCOT responds to that message, all members who are participating in that tender will receive that response, the original question as well as the response. So again, be mindful of the nature of the questions and then personal details as well in these messages. So once you are done, you select send message, and once you receive a response, you will receive an email. How do I now log in to see the response? You go to questions, you go to inbox, and on the right, you will be able to see the new message highlighted in blue. You click on it, and the response and the question will be there. All right? So that brings me to the end of the sourcing process or the uploading of an RFP or a tender package. We would have also covered this morning how do I successfully submit my pre-qualification using eTender. So with that, now I open up the floor to any questions on either process as it relates to the application. And if there are any questions on the tendering process specific to E-IDOCOT, Kalisha will take it. But my questions will be focused on the application itself. Do we have any questions? Morning.
Hold on.
That's okay.
Well, my problem is in trying to pre-qualify,
Right.
you have a questionnaire which you have to fill out. Now, when I did that questionnaire, the response said it was okay.
Right.
Now, if you have to pay, because you have to pay online, but you have to log in,
Yes.
I was having problem.
But at which stage were you having problems? Creating your account or pre-qualifying?
No, when I try to log in.
Log in?
When I try to log in.
What
After
error?
you've done the questionnaire, right? After you've done the questionnaire, then I try to log in because now I want to pay online.
Oh, the questionnaire you're referring to is what is the information you would have
Yeah, with
entered when
respect to-
creating your account,
yeah, with
right?
respect- yes.
Nice, right?
With respect to your company information
Right.
regarding your company and so
Good.
on. Now, then you have to pay to get the registration
Right.
package. That is where I have problem. Now, I spoke to Kalefa,
Kalisha?
Kalisha Miss Mills, and she said something about the left-hand side.
Yes.
And I've not
So,
seen that at all.
right. So that's okay. Well, you did say you came in late, and we
Yeah.
actually covered that as one of the first items.
That's right.
So what you're talking about there is logging into the account, which is stage 1, which you were successfully able to do, right? And the second stage is you actually starting the registration process. So Kalisha is right. You're right. When you log into the application, you will see the screen.
Oh, that left hand side.
Yeah. So let's focus on the screen here. So you will, when you log in, you see the screen, right?
I didn't see that.
Well, this is your login screen.
Yeah, right.
Right. And on the left, which is the blue panel, all right, you would see registration portal. Right. So this is where you have to go to start the pre-qual process, which is where you'll go to pay.
Right.
You with me?
Yeah.
You log into the application, you go to registration portal, and you go to start registration.
Right, lovely.
So when you go to start registration, right, you would see this page. This page shows you all the catalogs.
Right.
Once you select a catalog, so let's just say you click on one of them, let's just say advertising and marketing, which is at the bottom. I know it's a bit small, but Kalisha will share this with you, right? You then now go into the listing of catalogs under that category, under that catalog. And you see it here. So you see it says open, right, in green. Once you select it, you'll be able to pay for it.
All right.
So you have to pay for each individual catalog. Now what's key as well is that in the vendor portal, so in your side of the application, to the top right, you would see a green button that says guides. So those are actually your user guides. So I know the screenshot is probably a bit small for you guys here, right? But the user guides are actually located in the application and it guides you for each step, pre-qual as well as the sourcing. Each user guide has detailed screenshots to guide you through the process. So what is critical to remember is that yes, we have the registration of or creation of an e-tender account, but we also have now that second phase, which is the supplier pre-qualification, which is for specific categories. All right? And any module that you are interested in using is always located on the left on that panel, that dark blue panel. All right? So you can just go and click in there and you'll be able to get the various modules, you'll get your pre-qual packages, etc. And from there on, that should be able to assist you.
But you'd agree with me a forum like this was necessary?
Of course, of course.
I don't think it was entirely user-friendly.
Right.
To go forward.
Yes, no, I understand, and the challenge is that for the past, when we would have started our partnership with E-IDOCOT was actually right before COVID, and with COVID restrictions, etc. And that's one of the first things we wanted to do was have a huge vendor session, but with COVID we were unable to do that. So it's very timely that E-IDOCOT has recognized, given that the COVID restrictions have relaxed, that we come out and the first thing that we do is meet with your vendors to be able to bring everybody up to speed. However, what we do have as well is on E-IDOCOT's website, we have the link to this application. The user guides are there as well. Kalisha and her team have access to the user guides, and we've done the user guides in such a way where it literally takes you through every process, which screenshots highlighted, so you have given that we had the COVID challenge and we couldn't meet with everybody in a real way. But I think we had some virtual sessions too, right, Kalisha? So we did have some virtual sessions as well, really trying to meet with the vendors to close any gaps, all right? But we're here today, and I'm glad that you're able to...
Yeah, but how do you get to this screen? Because I can't remember seeing that.
Which screen is that? The one on the...
Where you seen there?
Right, so how you get to this screen is that when you log into the application, you would see the screen. On this, right? This is what your screen looks like. As soon as you log in, this is what you see.
All right, good.
What you need to do is click on the buttons on the left. Now, each button has subsections. So you want to enter into registration portal, so that's highlighted in green. And when you click on that, now you'll see all the steps underneath that. Start pre-qual, my purchase pre-qual, download files, and once you select start registration, which is where you want to be, you'll actually be on this page that shows you all the catalogs. And once you select the catalog that you are interested in, then you will see the catalog. The category, sorry. So the category is where you really want to be, because you want to be able to pay and access and upload your pre-qual for that category. So it's really a series of clicks to take you to that point. So what I can do, given that you were a bit late after the session, I can run it through with you.
All right, good.
And
good,
you could see
good,
it
good. Right,
more
lovely.
clearly on your screen.
Lovely, lovely.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
very much.
You're welcome.
It was quite helpful.
You're welcome. Any other questions on the pre-qualification process, on the tendering process using e-tender? Does everyone here have an e-tender account? So everyone here was able to successfully create an account? No? Okay. So then you will have to create one, right? And then we would have gone through those steps earlier in terms of account creation. Yeah? Any other questions? All right, so if we have no other questions, I will hand it back over to Kalisha. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions at all that you want to ask me directly as it relates to use of the system, I'll be on the left. Feel free to come and we can have a little guidance session if required. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly, for that comprehensive overview. I just want to stress again, I know that for some persons who are not tech savvy, it may be a bit difficult to navigate, but we are always there. You can always give me a call, 660-2683. My extension is 1230. Anytime you get me, I am always happy and willing to work with you to go through, find out where you are, where the challenges are, and we work through it to ensure that you are getting to that place of understanding the system and working through. Just a few points to reiterate on what Kimberly would have said. From our past experience in dealing with tenders, right? We know that sometimes we wait until the last moment to upload documents. It has always been a challenge when, we try to get in at the last hour, the last 2 hours, and it's not coming through, or within the last 5 minutes, someone would call to say that are you seeing my documents? And sometimes I don't, and it shows incomplete as what Kimberly was showing. All right, sometimes when you are uploading the documents, you have special characters in your PDF documents. Do not try to upload Word documents or any other editable document. It must be PDF. It must not have special characters. So as much as possible, just try to have just letters in the naming of your files when you upload. It is always best within the last hour. If you are not confident that your submission is in and that we have it recorded, you could always call, let us know. I could do a quick check to see if you have successfully uploaded or if it is still showing incomplete. All right. It is advisable to not ask to email your documents after the tender has closed. All right, once it is closed, even if you are in the middle of uploading, once that timer hits 00000, you will be out of the competition, as we say. All right, so please, as much as possible, I would say the best advice is to upload your documents a day before the close of the tender, or at least 3 hours before the close of the tender, so that you will not, find yourself, anything that could go wrong will go wrong, and especially with high value tenders that may be on the table, you don't want to, lose out on great opportunities. All right. I know Kimberly asked if we had any questions, but if anyone has any other questions for me in procurement and the uploading of bids, anyone has any questions? I noted that a few of you said that you have not registered on the system as yet, so I would advise for this round, we are targeting micro and small companies, and that would mean if you are micro that you have the capacity to do business up to $500,000. All right, and if you are in the small category, for this round, previously it was 500, but now it is 5 million because of the direction that the company is going with the size of development projects that we have coming up, it's going to be very, very wide in terms of what is possible for business owners. And so we are starting with our small and micro companies so that we could get you all on and start helping you to build that capacity so that you can get to the big leagues, right? So that would help you in a great way for that. And we have a few categories that are open for most of our general areas of business. We also have areas for those of you who are in, let's say, construction. All right, so we want to get you all, especially in there, so that you can start building your capacity in that area. All right, so if we have any questions. Oh, this round of pre-qualification is open until March the 15th. All right, so you have until March the 15th to get all your documents, register on the system, upload. I know some of the requirements may ask you for certificates, clearance certificates. It depends on what type of business entity you have registered. So if you can have those documents, try to get those documents in. If it is by chance, because we know how things happen with our government systems, if you are not able to get those documents in time, I would ask you to upload a letter explaining that you have not gotten those documents in time and when we can expect them in, all right? Because we don't want any real delays at the evaluation stage, okay? So after our small and micro, we would be moving on to the medium and large categories, all right? And we'll be sharing more on those as we go along. All right, so I know that you would have heard me. I spoke about all of these, development projects and where we are going. So I want to invite our senior projects officer, Mr. Karen Martin, who is just going to share a bit on the bit of new direction that E-IDOCOT is taking, and if you have any questions for him as well. So let's welcome Karen.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mills. Good morning, all. So I'm just going to talk very briefly now that you've heard all about how to pre-qualify with E-IDOCOT and how to possibly submit your tender submissions. You're probably wondering what is happening at E-IDOCOT. What projects do we really have happening, right? So at E-IDOCOT, at the projects unit, we have what we refer to as external projects, which we undertake for the THA, the beta division or so, and then we have our internal projects, right? So I'll go through some of those with you and where the upcoming opportunities are for tendering and submitting, right? So firstly, I would say that our flagship internal project would be the construction of an additional factory shell building and MPU building at the Cove Tobago. So we refer to that as MPU 3 and Factory Shell 3. We have 2 factory shells and 2 MPUs currently, and it is our vision to construct a 3rd factory shell and a 3rd MPU building within the upcoming months, right? To start that within the upcoming months, so that tender will be one of the opportunities that you can tender on and so on. Additionally, well, subsequent to that, probably in the other fiscal year and so on, we're working to just secure some funding for that project, which would be the construction of our administration building, right? That will also be constructed on the park at Cove Tobago, right? I would go and touch now a bit on upcoming external projects. As of this week, we have been contracted as the project managers for the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport to undertake the high mass lighting project at the Patience Hill and Louisdor recreational grounds, right? So we'll be putting out tenders for design firstly, for those firms that enter design, and then subsequently for the construction, right? So that is also upcoming. So I encourage you to stay, so of course, pre-qualify and get your documents ready to tender on these upcoming projects. Further to that, as the new direction is that E-IDOCOT will continue to build capacity in Tobago and develop the the capacity of contractors here in Tobago and work closely with you. And we move into a space where we position ourselves to be the premier project management entity for Tobago. So most of the development projects, as Mr. Richards and Kalisha mentioned, will be passing through the E-IDOCOT for procurement action and project management supervision and control through the procurement and projects unit, and of course the support of the E-IDOCOT team, right? So there will be several other potential projects as the divisions roll out their development program. When it comes to internal projects are any project we do on the park that will be an upgrade project or a maintenance project, right? So we work closely with our park management department here, and this could include any type of renovation, upgrade works, and so on. So recently we would have completed the upgrade work at our washroom office, our washroom facilities at our office, and also some upgrade to our security booth. Right, so some painting work, some new flooring, some cabinetry, joinery, we install a new barrier and so on. So those are some of the works that can happen with internal projects, which are usually where we invite the micro and small contractors, right? So ongoing right now as well, we have cleaning of our internal drains. So you have some labor intensive type contracts. So you make sure you have your labor team right on board to come and execute the works that are ongoing. In addition to that, we have our outfall drain, cleaning and repair of the outfall drain. Some section of the outfall drain walls would have collapsed, so we have to repair that. We have to clean the entire channel and prepare so that we don't prepare for flood prevention, right? Also, you may have heard of the Berry Cove farm that has been constructed at Cove Tobago. What we do as well from the projects department, we partner with both our built space tenants and our land space tenants. So Berry Cove is one of our land space tenants, and we partner with them to offer our project management services. So we are the project managers for that construction site right now. So that's also ongoing, right? In the category of upcoming, you want to know what is upcoming in internal projects. So I would tell you, we have reconstruction of a road section in the car park area that is deteriorating, so we have to go out to tender for that. So that would be advertised. That would be coming out soon. We are also doing some upgrade to a container office that we have on the site, in addition to some refurbishment and upgrade works at our offices as we're expanding our staffing capacity and so on. We need to retrofit some office spaces, some facilities. That is also upcoming. We have also the animation hub refurbishment. So that's to be built out as a space where we are developing an animation hub at Cove Tobago. So we met here some weeks ago to launch that project in partnership with Tobago Trek, right? So those renovation works are coming out soon. We are also constructing a new emergency exit stair at our building, right? So that work will be both design and build. So that is upcoming as well. So those are some of the upcoming internal projects, and internal projects will come up from time to time. So I encourage you to stay alert with the e-tender platform, stay alert with E-IDOCOT, make sure and get pre-qualified, make sure and prepare your documents ahead of time. Any documents you can touch up and fine tune. In the meantime, I encourage you to do so. So when you upload and it's time for evaluation, it's at an acceptable standard. If the documents are not at acceptable standard, we would then come back to you for clarification and say, Mr. John Brown, your org chart doesn't show me that you have a project manager. Who would be your project manager? And then you have to clarify, and then we go back and forth, right? Or your schedule doesn't tell me when you're going to start activity A or B or M or Z, right? So you need to make sure that all these documents are very clear, that we could understand that you understand that what you're about to do, and you need to demonstrate us that you understand that the work that you're about to do and how you plan to undertake it, right? So I encourage you to prepare any standard documentation. Of course, your team, I mentioned your team, so you prepare even your resumes. As a standard document you can prepare and have put down, so you just slap that onto the application, and you know you have supervisor, you have an HSSC officer, you have a project manager, etc., etc. Right? So you can prepare those type of documents in the meantime, and also practice working or thinking through your method statement. Your method statement is an important document. That is where you communicate to E-IDOCOT how you are going to undertake the work, how you are going to utilize your resources, be it human resource, be it time, be it plant and equipment, how you are going to work all these parts together to execute the work. If you're repairing the car park, where do you stock your material? Where do you remove, where do you put your waste to, etc., etc.? Where do you get power? Where do you get water? Right? What time you're going to start work? What time you're going to finish work? These are the type of details that we want to see, because you need to communicate. Through your submission is how you communicate with E-IDOCOT, how you're going to execute the work. So we encourage you to really perfect these documents. And of course, if it's not done in a particular way, E-IDOCOT may go through a clarification and negotiation process with you, where we invite you to, solidify this document for us. We're not clear. We can't even evaluate. We're not clear what you're proposing. Right? So we'll have to go through that process. It makes the process take a bit longer. So I encourage you to get going with that in the meantime. Also, for micro and small projects, we utilize the FIDIC Green Book contract. So I also encourage you to familiarize yourself with the FIDIC Green Book contract, which is used for small, simple, short duration type works. So if you're not familiar with the FIDIC contract, I encourage you to get very familiar, because that is our standard contract form for doing micro and small projects, right? It's very simple. It's designed to be very simple. We may have a section of particular conditions where we adjust some of the conditions in there. If a project is 7-day duration, it makes no sense we have statements in the contract that say within 7 days, then you do so and so. We'll change that to say within 24 hours, etc., etc. Right? So generally, get familiar with your FIDIC short form, what we call the Green Book type of contract. And in closing, I just want to encourage you, all persons, please take advantage of this opportunity of working with E-IDOCOT. As we mentioned, we are well positioned to undertake many of the development projects on the island of Tobago. So this is where you really want to partner with us and work, because we can't do it alone. We can have all the projects, but with no contractors to work, then we're not meeting our objectives. So we need to work closely with you, and we encourage you to come forward and work with us. Yes, so stay alert, get registered, and I thank you. Any questions? All right, well, we'll be here for some time after the formal part of the presentation. If you have any questions, anything you want to ask, we'll be here for some time thereafter. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Martin. So, since do we have one last call for questions? Anything you would like to ask? I have not heard from anyone in the audience, so I would need at least 5 persons to stand to say their name, their business, and what they are into, so we can get more familiar with you as well. So this is why we are here. 5 persons at least.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
My name is Roald Arthur. I'm a retiree, actually.
Okay.
Nearly 70. When I retired, I chose, rather than go looking for a job, I chose to work with my wife's sister-in-law, who had a business, cleaning and plant rental business. I don't know if you know all those plants you see in the Republic banks, in the financial complex, and so on.
All right, what's the company name?
The name of the company is what you see here. M&J's Flower Kingdom and Cleaning Services Limited.
Okay.
It's our logo here. It's a relatively small business. It's VAT registered. is VAT registered, and if you have to be VAT registered, you have to at least have an income of
Yes.
500,000.
Yes.
Right? It's VAT registered. We pay our NIS and so on, and health surcharge and so on. In fact, when I went to that business, I set out to structure it in a business-like manner. We have our pay sheets. Anytime the NIS called for an audit, we are there with all the documents, which were never like that before. We employ about just over 20 people. Just over 20 people. We have the plant rentals. We have possibly over 500 species of plants. I describe ourselves as the premier in plant rentals because, you had to register with the procurement unit and so on.
Right, right.
And we actually get all anytime, you want rentals and so on, we get them all the time.
Oh, that's great.
Right, so we want to expand our cleaning services part.
Okay.
We want to expand that part.
So what would you be registering with E-IDOCOT for?
Janitorial and cleaning
Okay.
services supply.
And that is under the same M&J's?
M&J's, yes,
Okay.
M&J's. I would have spoken to you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
M&J's,
Great.
Flower Kingdom and Cleaning Services Limited.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I am Gemlyn Tobias Frank. My company is 3J Holdings Limited, the figure 3, the letter J. We are a Tobago-based business. We have been in business since 2007. It's fully family-owned. We are into provision of construction services. From start to finish, we do delivery of aggregates, we do actual construction works, both private and with the THA and stuff. We have water trucking services to private persons and to WASA.
That's good to know.
Well, we are here because we are very happy. I'm very happy to hear that E-IDOCOT is into development of Tobago contractors. I am a firm believer in us Tobago-based contractors particularly benefiting from what is available and works that are done here in Tobago. So I'm glad to hear that there's the emphasis on that. I am also very happy to hear that you will be providing support services. I think I saw that in the document in terms of assisting us with project management services and so on. So we are here. We will be completing the registration this week. And again, I just want to say thanks for this effort and to encourage all of us to take part and to move ourselves forward.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, hello, good day.
Good day.
My name is Dion O'Neill. My company is DO Works and Enterprise Limited. We specialize in fuel services. We actually did a small project for you all, a temporary gas tank for your backup generator, if you could recall. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so we are relatively new. We do general constructors. Also, we do like small tool rentals. So basically, that's the whole idea of my business. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Hi, good morning. My name is Nelton Lewis, and I represent a company called Winward Engineering, where our goal is to provide mechanical services like small engine repairs, pumps, compressors, motors, that kind of thing. I would have done some pumps for you all. We would have done some MRI work at the hospital. Would have done some boiler work for TRHA, and rebuild or machine or refurbish any kind of mechanical device. Whatever tools you might need for rental, we could partner to get that as well. But any kind of mechanical services, that's what we're into. Right?
Okay, great, great. Thank you.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Cedra Sampson Farrell. I own the company Nilalco Maintenance Services Limited. Nilalco as in no alcohol, stemming from a dream to open and establish non-alcoholic centers where you can have fun with your family, play games, still have something to drink, you know. This company started in 2016, started with just myself and 2 sons and my daughter, just domestic cleaning of yards and drains and guttering, etc. We have since, we are in the process of registering with several commercial entities to try to expand our business. And so I was grateful to come to this session to hear more, to learn, and to acquire numbers that, you know, we can develop a relationship to help us expand the way we should.
Right.
I'm relatively new to this, and it's a bit challenging and intimidating at times. And so knowledge is power. And so I intend to fit myself in with sessions like this so I can learn. I'm not giving up. I've been registering in at least 3 different procurement entities in Tobago, and it hasn't taken root as yet, I should say, but I'm not giving up. And we provide sanitizing, general maintenance. We also do construction, and we also do general janitorial.
Okay.
So that we would have tried to incorporate all the different fields so that when we are employed, there's not really any need to have 3-4 contractors on the compound because we have umbrellaed a couple.
Okay.
I am from the safety background. I'm a safety officer / medic, and my husband is from the construction background. So we try to merge what we have, and our target for workers, we target single parents. We target people who are not looking for a second job, but people who were not academically inclined but is very skilled with their hands. And, you know, they say common sense make before book sense. So we target people with vision, people who have it together up here that the system may bypass as not being intelligent. And we have a high success rate with those clients that we service thus far.
Okay.
With this humble group of workers. We have at least 20 workers, but because there isn't a consistent flow of work, I always encourage them, if you see something, go and take it because you know you have to butter your bread. But we really hope to get long-term contracts so that they can stay with us.
Yes, yes. Well, keep looking out for us and make sure that you register on the e-tender. Yes, thank you.
Hi, morning everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Brinsley Smith from Castara. The company I represent is Lobax and Associates. We are into facility management. We cover a wide spectrum of work based on you give us your property and we keep the life in your property. So if the construction, like for instance, building, the lifespan is 30 years, we're going to stretch it to double that years and stuff. So full facility management we're into.
Okay.
Right, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Anyone else? We are in a room full of entrepreneurs, and as an entrepreneur, it is critical that you always take every opportunity to share about your business, because you never know who might be in the room or who would need your service. Yes? So if we have one last call, anyone else want to share about their business? Okay. So if we have no one else, I would like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to be with us here to learn about E-IDOCOT, what we have going on at E-IDOCOT, our upcoming projects, registering on our e-tender platform. Our new board of directors they are always stated us that we are like a family, and so we want to extend that to you all as well. Feel free to give us a call, any questions that you may have. You can send me an email, you can call extension 1230, and we would always be happy to help you. All right, so thank you all so much for your time, and we look forward to connecting with you all in the future. Thank you so much.